I am so excited to take you on this journey from frustration to bliss. So join me, and here we go, starting the journey of hoop dancing. Keeping your body moving in a fun, playful, youthful way that doesn't even really feel like exercise because you're concentrating on developing and learning and expressing, and the benefit is that you're getting a workout too. I'm here to share with you the quick way to get started and the endless possibilities that are awaiting you on your hoop dance journey. So let's do this. Here's the first secret that most people do not know, and when I first started, I thought just the opposite. The bigger the hula hoop, the easier it is. Who would have thought? It seemed like a big one would make it harder, right? Well, I'm going to disprove that because I'm going to show you a giant hula hoop. Look how big this one is. This is actually 52 inches in diameter. And starting to talk about diameter, I'm going to be measuring some for you, but I'm just going to show you this one to start. I'm going to measure from one side of the hoop across to the other, and that's the diameter of the hoop. And the bigger the hoop, the more space there is on the inside. The slower it goes, the more time you have to interact and to move, and the less accurate you have to be. So consider this: the smaller the hoop, the faster you have to go, the more accurate you have to be. So check this out in this giant hoop. Now, this is not the perfect hoop for you to start with, but this is the perfect hoop to prove my first point. You need a larger hoop in the beginning. So here we go. So check this out. I am going very slow, barely moving to keep myself going. But you can see it takes up some space. It was hitting all my other hula hoops over there. Oh, and my couch. So this isn't ideal for hula hooping in your house. X out on this one. This is a fun hoop to play with outdoors, but not the hoop you want for your first hula hoop. And going back to the hoop I originally showed you, and when I tried on my body, frustrating because the circle is so little, it goes around so fast. I have to be so accurate and so speedy that even though I've been doing this for a long time, it's really hard for me to keep that going. That's definitely not your first hoop. But this is a hoop that you could do some fun, playful things with eventually in your hoop journey. This is not one we're going to throw away, but this is not our first hoop for sure. In the big picture, this is generally going to be a perfect size hoop for the majority of people. And what I mean by that is it could be different depending on your height and depending on how curvy we might be, right? So the more space we have in the hoop in the beginning, the easier it is, just like that giant one. Now I have my tape measure, and I'm going to just show you what that looks like. So if I measure that from one side to the other, it is 40 inches in diameter. So when you order your first hoop, that's an important first thing to know. The size of your hoop, and specifically this one is 40 inches in diameter. Now, when I drop it down to here, it approximately comes from the floor to my belly button. And that has been a standard measurement that hoopers have been using for a long time. So that is not set in stone, but that'll give you a general idea. So you can measure from the floor to your belly button and get a general idea on a good size for you for your first hoop. Now, so you might want to take away just a tiny bit, maybe just an inch at the most, or 2 at the very most, if you're very tiny and petite. You might want to add a little bit, an inch or 2, if you're a little bit kind of bigger boned like me, or a little bit more shapely, so that you have more space in the center. So I'm considering how much space is in here. So I can modify, so I say 40 inches as the general. And then from there, maybe an inch or 2 down for the petite woman, or an inch or 2 up for the curvier, more statuette woman. Now, the other thing I want you to consider is, did you hula hoop successfully as a child? If you were super good at it, you won all the local hula hoop contests, then you might be able to go down into a smaller size right away. If you had difficulty and never were able to do it, you might want to go up that inch or 2 to give you a little bit more time in the beginning. That is the overall view of getting your first hula hoop. So generally about 40 inches, up or down a couple of inches. Now, the other thing is the tape. If you can see, this one is taped with beautiful sparkly tapes, and you can pick out, when you get your hoop made, you can actually pick out from a local hoop maker, small business you're supporting, and you can pick out the colors that you want on your hula hoop and the design that you want, and you'll see that when you order from them, and you'll be able to see those details of how to pick out the colors you want your beautiful custom hoop to look like. And you might want it very basic, and you might want a fancy one. One thing to consider in the beginning, we do tend to drop it a lot, so a fancier one might get roughed up a little bit. I would recommend not to hula hoop on concrete unless you have a basic taped one. The fancy ones, you're gonna feel bad when they get all ripped up. But the nice thing is that they can always be retaped. You can buy your own tape and retape them. So if you're one of those DIY kind of gals, you can even make your own hula hoop from scratch, and I will give you the information of where to get all those supplies, and they have awesome videos to teach you how to make your own perfect hoop. I actually made this one myself. Another thing I want to share with you is that there's lots of different tubing width. So if you can see, I'll hold this up. This is the biggest one. This is actually 1 inch in diameter. Then I have 3/4 inch, and then I have 5/8 inch, right? So there's different widths, and you want to make sure that you start off with the thicker width of tubing. And I want you to know about the different types of tubing. Right here, I have 2 different kinds. This is called PE, or polyurethane. And I also have this tubing, and this is called Polypro, or polypropylene. You'll want to start off with the PE tubing for that nice extra weight. Now that I've told you about your perfect hoop, go ahead and take a look at this for how to get started with your hula hoop. And when you actually get your new hula hoop, you can come back and look at these tips again.